All right, well, welcome. So I'll start really quickly. We have a lot of people online. Hi, Marisa, nice to have you online. And oh, Brian, I'm sad. Yeah, but I'll let you know of other things. Maybe we'll see each other. Yeah. And if I do work weekend workshops, then I'm here on Tuesdays, and Bryn got a job and she can't make it here on Tuesdays anymore. She got a good job, something she's been wanting. So anyway, so today's class is dedicated to trusting your intuition. And I like this theme. I think it's really an important one. And I think maybe the idea of intuition seems a little odd, like, I don't know. The ancient yogis talk a lot about it, that they refer to it as like developing one's intuition or trusting one's intuition, developing a way to hear, to listen to it, having insight, perceiving. That's why they talk about that third eye. There's not really a physical third eye, but there is a symbolic third eye, that this is the one that helps you to really perceive. So it's about tapping in and tuning in. And we practice that with our yoga. So tapping in, tuning in. As far as our session today goes, we're going to be working postures in threes, but we're going to start out with sun salutations to warm ourselves up. Let me see, I'm just getting this. It's probably not enough. Okay, so we're ready to begin. So we are, hi Shelly. We're going to come up to standing and move it back. Okay. And we're going to stand to the front of the mat. So I'll stand this way, and then later on I'll stand on the other way. So standing in front of the mat, and hands are to heart center. So I think of sun salutations as a way of warming up. They are the warm up. Okay. So you reach up, extend. So think reach skyward and then reach back. Reach skyward and then reach back. So you could also take your hands to your back just to make sure that you're not sinking into your back as you lift. And then lower, and you can bend your knees as you come to your forward bend, especially if you've done a lot of running or treadmill. Okay. So you can bend your knees initially and then maybe straighten up, but I never lock out. I don't really want to have that kind of lockout or like a bulging sensation at the back of my knee. That's not a good place to be. And then look ahead of me, lengthen out your spine, look ahead of me, and then fold in again. We're going to take right foot straight back, lower lunge position. So you can see this first round, we're going a little slow. So you're like, oh, okay, into the hip area. Right hip flexor, and then your back heel comes down, and now little balance as you're coming up in warrior one, and then you reach your arms up, and I really want to have my left knee at a 90-degree bend. Reach up, tilt your head back, active, breathing in, exhale, and then lower, and we'll step back, downward facing dog. So when you step back, have your hands spread wide, shake out your head, and you could pedal. You bend one knee and you press opposite heel down, back and forth. So you're exercising your foot, you're moving your toes, your feet, good. And then straighten the legs, and we'll come forward to a plank. So when you come to the plank, have your feet closer in together. Nice breath in. And we're going to lower all the way onto the belly. So you're lowering, lowering, lowering. And then again, I'm thinking of this as a warm up. So the elbows are down, and your elbows are just like straight line down from the shoulders. Tops of the feet pressing down. And you're arching your back. Some of you can straighten your arms go deeper. Tops of the feet down, good. Breathing in. Exhale, and then lower, and we'll add child's pose in there. So once you add child's pose, you can have your hands forward or hands are back by your feet. Your lower back is released, and you can just able to create a lot of space. Remember that idea of like you're observing your breath. You're trying to quiet the mind. Arms are forward again, and we come to downward facing dog. Curling toes under, and then extending. And your this V, the highest point of your V is your tailbone. Good. Now take a moment as you're in your downward facing dog, like you're going to yawn, and breathing. Yep. Okay, and then your right leg is going to swing up in the air. So you get a little momentum there. And then your right leg will swing forward to the space between hands. When I do that, I move my shoulders. I usually bring my right hand up so I make space for the leg. And then from here, press your pelvis down, stretching your left hip. And then back heel comes down and reach up. So lengthening, look up, reaching your arms further back. Inhale, exhale. And then we'll step forward, left foot steps forward, and as you're here, like you're folding in, maybe your hands are behind your calves, folding inward. And then extend your back. Fold in one more time. And then swing the arms out to the sides, all the way up, palms come together, reach back. And hands to heart center. Good. We have another round. And the second round is different, right? Just slightly different. So hands are to heart. Inhale, arching back. Exhale, folding forward. You can soften your knees if you like. You could have your hands on blocks or hands on either side of the feet. Maybe you can get your palms down. Yep, looking at your knees. And then when you look forward, I usually come up on the fingertips. Exhale, fold in again. Left foot back, and we go straight into warrior one. Swinging the arms up. Reach, arching back. So there's an assumption that the second time around we're a little more warmed up, more focused. And then hands come down, and we'll step back, downward facing dog. Feet will be together. Stretch back. Feel the symmetry of the pose. And then come forward, and feet are together. Take a moment, breath in. Now we're going to lower onto the belly, lowering all the way down, and then come up into cobra. We'll do 3 cobras. So feet don't have to stay together. Press the feet down as you lengthen. The first one. And lower. Forehead can touch down. Inhale as press up again. Exhale and lower. And again, inhale. Good, and exhale, lower. So we'll if you need child's pose, you'll go there, but if you can, you're gonna come up all the way back to downward facing dog. Feet coming maybe a little closer in so you can work your legs. And then the left leg will swing up into the air. Look at your hands, swing your foot forward. Back heel is down and the arms come up, warrior one. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, reaching even further back. And from here, stepping forward. And as you step forward, take a moment, stretching out the whole posterior chain of your body, not just your calves, hamstrings, but the glutes back, your neck. And then look ahead of you. Deep breath in, exhale, folding in. Soften the knees, sweep the arms up, palms touch, reach back, arching. And then hands to heart center. So it's a nice way to start. Okay, we're going to come to 3 side bend movements. So let's see. There. All right. So happy to sit, but you're also like a little more warmed up here. So let's do our nice side bend movement that we often do. It's the most basic one. You're reaching your arm up overhead and stretching into your side. Yeah, it's nice. You kind of have just, you have like a mirror there. You almost reach into the mirror. It's like a physical place to reach into, right here. And breathing. And then we'll come up and come to the other side, reaching up, inhale. And exhale, come on over and stretch. So the tendency is to want to touch down at any cost, but let's really come into this pure side movement. And one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And then release. And then we'll do one where we extend one leg. And from here, we're side bending. We're going towards the straight leg, reaching up and over towards the straight leg. There, straight leg to the other way. The other way. Do it towards the straight leg. Yeah, there you go. So you're reaching, the lower hand is reaching the foot. Good. All right, and well, why not? We're going to come over to a twist, turn towards your bent knee and twist, look back. Breath in. Exhale. And we have the second side. So bending one knee, extending the other, and coming over. And I agree, sometimes it's really nice to have that extended legs, heel on the mat, like if your heel is sensitive, right? I always find my heel is kind of sensitive. So you're reaching up and over, lower hand trying to reach the foot. If not, that's when we usually use a strap. And see if you can take your arm, top arm back. Yep. And of course, it's an invitation to breathe. Great, and coming out. So the third side bend, we'll actually do it on our backs because then will lead us to something else that we'll do. So you're going to be lying on your back. And the first thing we can do is pull knees right into chest and extending your legs onto the mat. Right ankle is over the other. So legs are straightened and your legs are right on the mat. Right leg crosses on top of the other. And then come up on your elbows so you can kind of see what's happening too. And you're going to walk over towards your left. And then left hand reaches for the right wrist. So it seems these 3 side bends are fairly basic, but I think they're pretty deep. So I like that we're lying down, that we can measure, like the floor allows you to see, okay, yeah, both glutes, buttocks down, both shoulders down, head is down. So you can close your eyes, kind of memorize this alignment. Okay, come on out, shimmy to the center, and then take your left leg on top of the other. Now, again, come up on your elbows and walk over, and then lower. Right hand reaches for the left wrist and stretching the whole left side of your torso, and breathe.
I'm just looking straight up.
Yeah, you can look straight up. I tend to, yeah, I mean, not only because the lights are bright in here, but I tend to close my eyes so I can really sense my body in relationship to the floor. So when I'm standing, I have a better idea of the alignment that I want when I'm standing, because a lot of times we'll come forward on the side bend. Yep. Okay. And then release and come back to center. Okay. So pulling knees into chest, stretching your lower back. And we have bridge. We have bridge. So this is the first of 3 that are related, right? We're working in 3s. And one of my favorite ways to work, because you get to see families of poses, or you get to be in a posture for, 3 rounds of breath. So we're lifting, 3 is the magic number, and you're clasping hands, you're tucking shoulders underneath you, and you're coming up high. Now, for some, this is it. This is the best challenge for you. But you can also maybe take your right leg up, point through the toes, reach up high. And then lower the foot, and you're trying not to look left or right, so you straighten your neck, and do the other one, the left leg up in the air, toes pointed, breathing in. And then lowering. Now both heels are up, and you're gonna lower, lower, lower. And once you lower, of course, happy baby, you're gonna reach for your feet, go wide with your feet, and stretching out your low back. You can rock side, side. We come up to sitting, and we've got tabletop. So this way now. So for our tabletop, wherever your knees are is where your heels are gonna draw up, and your feet will be about hip distance apart. Now, if I come into this and not prepare my shoulders, it's a disaster. Okay, so you roll the shoulders back, fingertips pointing in towards you. I do see people turn their hands out, that works, and press. So you're pressing up. So it's again, the posture chain of your body now is having to be strong. If you can, you tilt your head back. If that bothers your neck, you're taking chin in towards chest. Raise your foot, just keeping the heel down. Raise the front of the foot so you know you're working from your heels. And then lower, so that works your glutes. And then go ahead and straighten the legs and just roll out the wrists. And then we have, so if these are hard, you go back to bridge. But if you can now, the feet are together. We're coming to reverse plank. Roll shoulders back and inhale. So this is the third of these posterior chain openings. Yes, that's good. You're trying to get your pelvis up high, maybe tilting your head back, and then lower. And once again, we're going to just roll out the wrists. So I think you're going to be happy to know that we're going to do a few shoulder stretches. Okay. The first one it's super basic, but I'll tell you why it's so important. You're going to extend one arm, right or left, doesn't matter. It comes across, and you have a helper hand is like a shelf. And your hand the shelf is close into the elbow. You turn your head towards the stretched shoulder area. Your hand, the raised hand, just kind of drips that arm is really being held up by the helper hand. You feel the weight of your arm. And for a long time, I didn't do these very much because I didn't feel a great stretch, but I understand now that this is just really great for shoulder rotator cuff. It's really good. Anything else, Julie, you can think about?
Just a good stretch for your traps.
Yeah, good stretch for the traps, trapezoidals, deltoids. Okay, are you doing racket sports or rowing? What else? Just about everything. You do your arms, shoulders. Okay, release and lower, and we'll do the other side, extending, coming across, hold. So again, my helper hand is doing the bracing, and then you turn your head towards this stretched shoulder. Yeah, so it's wherever it is. So you may feel like not much is happening. Maybe you raise the arm or lower it, and breathe. Inhale, just really keeping your shoulder healthy. Healthy
shoulders, happy person, and then release. And we can say it with the hip joints, back. Okay, so right arm over the other. This is the second one for shoulders. So it's like the eagle, right? Upper part of eagle. You can be upright. Just take a deep breath into your neck, into the back of your shoulders. You can let your face be cradled in your arms. Elbows are up as high as your shoulders. When you come out, you're going to hook your thumbs together behind the back. Hook thumbs together, extend the arms, and look up, and then look down. Let's do that second side. So you could also reverse the leg crossing. Left arm over the other. You wrap, elbows pressing in towards each other. Breathe in. Exhale. Your face could be cradled in your arms. Doesn't even take, sometimes we do movement in this. It's good to be still and to release the back of your neck. One more breath. Exhale, and then we're going to take the arms back. Now we hook the thumbs together. See what is most natural hook, and then reverse it. So you do the reverse hook. Then look up, and then chin down. Now you're going to look past one shoulder towards the back of the room. Look the other way. One more. Look the first way, and then look down like you're looking past your shoulder towards the mat or floor. And the other way, turn and then look down. Yep, unique movements to the neck and then roll out wrists. Okay, so the last one for shoulders, we're coming on to hands and knees. And it's the one that's called Anahata. So your Anahata refers to heart chakra, heart energy center. So your hands and knees, and then your pelvis is going to stay up, and you walk your hands forward, and your forehead comes down. So your arms are fully extended, elbows are not resting. If you can, you have the arms straightened. And maybe you're going to lift your head and then bring your chin down. You never know. That's a lot. If that's too much on the neck, you keep your head down, and hopefully you get a really great stretch to your shoulders here. Kind of like the front area of the shoulder. It's really nice. All right, and then we're going to come out. How'd you do on that one? Yeah, it's quite the stretch. And then we're going to come back to downward facing dog. So you're pressing back, and we're going to pedal, just kind of pedal, get right into your calves. And we can consider this one of the hamstring stretches that we're going to be going into now. So heels pressing down, tailbone coming up, abdominals, especially when you exhale, they draw inward. Shake out your head. And then the second one, forward bend, is you walk to the front end of your mat and you're in a Uttanasana, your forward bend. So if your hamstrings are so tight, you might want like a block between thighs, really close into your knees, or just hang out. And my knees can be soft. I don't want to lock out. And take a moment here to breathe. Yep, so much you could take hands. Some of you are holding hands to elbows. Some of you have your hands down. Some slip the hand under the foot. See what works for you. Let's do 2 more rounds of breath. Release the back of your neck. And then hands onto your thighs as you press up. Ooh, whole new person coming out, emerging. Take your arms up and extend. Palms pressed together, look up, create space. Good, and hands are to heart center. Yep, another forward fold, and this is the wide one. So in studio, you can look towards the mirror, like turning. So your feet are really wide on this one. And it starts to get into the inner thighs as well as hamstring. So I'm going to say just have your hands slide down your outside legs, ideally reaching for your ankles, who knows, lowering your head, and maybe you do reach your toes, in which case you're going to wrap index finger, middle finger around big toes and breathing. And by the way, there's lots of nerve endings in the toes and the feet. So when you reach for when you like wrap the index finger, your peace fingers, I say, and around your big toe, you're kind of squeezing and activating different parts of your brain. It's a very interesting idea. That's all part of like reflexology. And then come on out. Hands are onto your thighs, and you come out, and we'll bring the feet closer in together. Good. We'll go into strength because you gotta, can't all be stretched, can it? Okay. Grab hold of a block, and if you don't have a block like at home, it's fine. I mean, you can do a lot of these without a block, but I think most of you have a block. Hopefully, Meredith, you have a block. We've got 2 blocks, yeah, okay. So all you need is 1, and all right. So in this one, ideally, your back foot is going to be up the whole time. That's in the perfect world. So it might drop down, or some are going to say, oh, I got to keep my leg down most of the time. But if you can, let's be, flamingos here. Okay. And then engage your core, and you're going to bend your standing leg. You're going to feel this in your glutes. And press down, extend your back leg. Ooh, you've got an L shape here. And if you want, you can also take your hands away from the block and bring your hands to your heart. Ah. And then now reach for your block and see if you can keep your right leg up in the air, maybe. And you bring your leg forward and your block comes up and there's some balance. Okay, the second time is better because you know more what to expect, right? Or maybe not. Coming down, engage your core, same leg. Yep, and you drop down, and then your hands are to heart center, like a warrior 1. You could also take your arms out to a T, and then holding the block, bend your knee, coming up, and reach upward. You're amazing. Is there a third one in your future? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. We can do this. Reach back. Okay, focus. Hands are to heart. Oh my gosh. Okay, arms are out to a T. And then reach the block. Come on up. Okay, and oh my gosh, please don't be mad at me tomorrow when you go to sit down and you feel like, oh my gosh, okay. So let's do a squat, okay? It could be a modified squat. This would be good for the stretch, and then just come on down. We have a second one, so we're revving up the engines here. All right, here we go. And second side. All right, so here we are. So again, the foot, if it touches down, it touches down. The goal is like you're challenging yourself. So to not touch down. So bending your knee, it's all slow motion, controlled. Once you're down, you have your hands on the block, the legs extend. Maybe that's exactly what you do, or hands are to heart. Good. And then reach for the block, bend your standing leg. That's where you're using your glutes, and bring the leg up, extend the arms. Better on that side. Okay. And then coming down. Part of it is, again, knowing what to expect. So now you're reaching, hands are to heart. And maybe you're going to take your arms out to the sides, like wings. And then reaching to the block, bending the knee. And strong. Last one, we can do this. Okay. Down. Extending. Hands to heart. It feels like we've done 10 on this side. Okay, come on up. We did it. Okay, let's come to a squat. Squat is dessert. Okay, come on down. So again, maybe you're like, have to be here or down.
What was that one called?
You know, that one, it's basically, it's Warrior 3 variations, but it was inspired by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG, and her workouts, RBG workouts. And I was like, that's warrior. Hey, that's a standing balance. So I attribute that one to her workouts. Yeah. And then hands are to heart. And you know what I thought? If she could do that in her 80s, I could do that now. Okay. So, and she did it with utmost grace. Like she didn't, because I saw the video of her working out and it was unbelievable. She was very, very strong. So, okay. Let's go into some balance. So as you go into balance, and what I'd like to do is, I want to link them together. Okay, so tree, eagle, half moon. So I just want to show it. So because it helps to know what's coming, right? If you have a block in, if you need your block, use your block. I don't usually use it, but okay. So when I show it, I'm not going to hold as long, right? So it's like, it's tree, eagle, arms, and then half moon. So maybe you're using a block or not, and you're opening the hip and going your half moon. So that's what we'll do. Yeah, using a wall is fine. Okay, so let's start it. Right leg comes up. Have everything, whatever you need. Your block, if you're using it, it's going to be on your left. Okay, right leg comes up. Even though you saw 3 poses, right now your mind, your essence, your body is like you're now a tree. Okay, your torso is the trunk of the tree. Underneath your human foot is a massive root system. As a tree, you have the ability to communicate with other trees. Just want you to put yourself in this place of a tree. Magic of yoga is we have a metamorphosis constant. So now you're going to wrap right leg over the other. You have to bend both knees, left arm on top of the other. Now got vision. Then you go and you become this sphere, half sphere, really, from our perspective, in orbit. So you're the half moon, extending, maybe using a block, taking top arm up, and breathe. Good. And then flex the ankle of the foot in the air. Good. And then try to get your leg up as high as your hip. There you go. Breathe in. Exhale. Keep track of the side you were on. Okay. And then we're going to press back into plank. Back, if you went to the wall, come to your mat for a moment. You're in plank. And we're going to lower. Knees could be up or knees could be down as you lower onto your belly. And then from here, let's hook the thumbs together again behind your back. Roll the shoulders back. And feet are down. Good. It's hard to smile on this way, like, yeah. And then look to your right and let your arms swing to the left. Try to keep your right hip down. And then look the other way. Look to your left and let your arms swing right. Good. And back to center. And then let's bring the forehead down. Breathe in. Exhale. Take hold of maybe one foot at a time or both for the quad stretch. Take a moment. Heel or heels towards buttock. Breathing in. Exhale. Now, if you just grab one side at a time, reverse. But if you're able to hold both,
See if you can really get a good grip of your ankles or your feet and start to kick the legs back. And then we can rock. And lower. And let's press back to child's pose. Child's pose is so sweet. Come back to it. You can have your elbows down, whatever it takes for you to just come to this quiet place. Now, what I'd like to do is sit in Virasana. So many of us need a little block, and it's hard to see it, but I really am putting a block underneath me. I say it's hard to see it because when I look around, I'm like, is Paul have a block there? I can never tell. I can never tell if you have a block or if you're sitting on your heels, unless I'm like really close in. Yeah. Okay. I would say 2 blocks, Julie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're not so comfortable. And then, and what I like about this is just close the eyes for a moment. Notice your posture. It's upright. It's kind of effortless. It's a little more effortless to have an upright posture, and you can really breathe. Feel diaphragmatic movement. And then we're going to take index fingers and thumbs are upward. It's called the mudra of direction, and the other fingers are interlaced. Okay, and you extend your arms. I should say thumbs, index fingers extended, and you reach out, and it's called mudra of direction. So, but the whole pose is called the Thunderbolt Pose. And I'm going to say, if you can, you could get rid of, if you can sit on your heels or maybe even sit between heels. Some of you can't. And you only have 2 knees, so just don't force, don't get into a pose because of ego, because you think you should do it. Do it because your intuition says, yeah, you're fine with that. And then we release. Your hands help you to press up. And now we're going to go back again, downward facing dog, your old friend, the dog here. And shake out your head, and yep, you get to straighten out your legs, move them around. We have a whole other side, don't we, of balance. So let's bring our hands a little closer in together. It seems a little weird, but the hands are closer together, because what I would love is either you're going to walk your feet or jump your feet to the outside hands. How's that? 1, 2, 3. It's like a big leap. A big leap of faith that you're going to land. And then from here, you would come to a wide squat. And you might be modifying that. Or jumping. Let's take one arm up into there. One arm is down, one arm is reaching up. And the other way. One arm down, one arm up. Lower, let's come up to standing. And we have a whole other side here. So it's tree. So some are moving to the wall again at this point. It's another journey. Okay, so now, like for me, it's my left leg coming up. Do you remember which side it was? Because you were facing each other before. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'll figure something out.
Yep. That's what I was like. Remember which side you're on. So it's my left. And hands up to heart. You have tree. So traditionally, palms are together in tree, but we often like to take the arms away from each other because it resembles more like the branches of a tree. And then from here, you're going to start to bend your standing leg wrap, your left leg over the other, your right arm over the other, and there you are. And breathe.
and then a half moon. So I do bend my standing leg as my hand comes down, extending, and just like one hip over the other, and reach your top arm up into the air, and breathe. Okay, we're gonna come out. And then once here, let's go ahead and step back. We're gonna just step back to plank. There you go. So those at the wall coming back on the mats. And then knees are down. And if you can't, so your elbows are gonna bend straight back. You'll be using your triceps. They don't wanna point outward, but straight back. Your chin comes down, forward of your hands. So your pelvis is up in the air. Those are curled under. And it's like you create a tunnel and then the tunnel collapses, belly down, and press up into core. And then lower, bringing your forehead down. Deep breath in. And exhale. So once again, we'll reach for a foot in or two, right? So some of you are finding that to go into a quad stretch, you have to go on your side. That's easiest, or you're doing one at a time, or you're doing both. And even though I can do, different quad stretches, I still get something from this. Like still, like if I press my hip crease down into the mat, I get a pretty good opening. And then I'm going to hold a little lower on my ankle. Some of you are switching sides now, but if you had a hold of both, once again, you have both. Back. Rock. And then release. And once again, we're going to come back, and I would say let's come to child's pose first. You can stretch out your spine. And then we'll come to a twist. So let's go ahead and sit again. So if you want to sit in Virasana, that's fine. Without block, I'm going to use a block. It's a simple twist. So I'm turning, you can go left or right, it shouldn't matter. You can turn and look back. And maybe you're surprised at how far you go. Honestly. Okay, and then twist the other way. Anyone else get a few pops in your back? Mm-hmm. And what's nice is in Virasana, usually your spine is so upright that the twist is very, it's a very safe twist. Yeah. Now, so we have pigeon coming up, and there will be outer hip stretches. But if that's too much for you, you come onto your back and you thread the needle. That might be better for you than pigeon. Okay. And do okay. So those of you coming in pigeon, it doesn't matter. It could be left or right. We'll do both sides. I tend to choose pigeon over threading the needle when given a choice, but honestly, threading the needle is a pretty effective way of stretching the outer hip. And some love it because it doesn't compromise the knees. It's really why some might choose that.
So there's going to be 3 here, right? So here's what I'll say. I'll show how to do from pigeon. I'll show from the backs. Okay, so very different. So if you're in pigeon, you're going to roll onto, if your right knee is forward, you roll on your right hip. If your left knee is forward, you roll to your left. And then you're going to take one leg on top. And it's half spinal twist. So again, you know, you're going to turn in the direction of your high knee. Yeah, so you're going to twist. Yeah, there you go. And that's good. That's most comfortable for you. Okay. And then we come out. And the third of these is we're going to go wide. So you go wide and you're dropping down. So I just kind of turn on my mat because I need space. So some of you are, you know, turning on your mat where your heels are on the mat. And, you know, you can always use a block to lean into the blocks. Maybe lean into the block differently. And take a few rounds of breath. How about if you're lying back?
I just got a little cramps, that's all.
Okay, we're releasing, coming out, and there's 3 more on the other side. So we start out with pigeon. So if you, you know, maybe you're like, oh, I'm going to go there from hands and knees for the second side, or you come into it from downward facing dog. For me, it's my left knee forward. Many of you are also to the left, maybe not. And different side, huh? Sometimes one side is so tight. So this is the perfect counter pose to the RBG workout one that we did with the block. All right, we're going to start to come to a twist. So I'm leaning to one side and coming to a twist. So now my right leg is on top of the other. And those who are on their backs, you can also come up and do this one. You can always modify by straightening the lower leg. Good. So turn towards your top knee, the raised knee, which for me is the right, and turning towards the raised knee, elbow cross knee, and twist. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Good. Okay, and we come out. But you're laughing because you were going the other way.
Going the wrong way. Yeah.
I thought it was intentional. That's why I didn't. Yeah, I thought that that was what was more comfortable for you. So I'm like, I'm gonna let Anne do that. So,
Thank you.
Okay, and then I don't remember what we did next.
Wide.
How could we forget? Wide. I'm like, what's the
Took a
twist we
moment.
did? We went wide. Oh my goodness. Well, it makes me feel better and no one else remembered. It's like, you want to kind of put that one out of your mind. Okay, come forward and push out through the heels. Some of you online were like, okay. Sadie, you remembered, right? No, just like, no. So let's see, balance galore, side bending, seated twists, hip openings, core strength, a lot of forward bends, hamstrings, arching, a lot in there. And then let's end your sun salutation. Just bring your legs together, shake them out, and then we have a block. So let's see, if that's the right time. So, all right, we're coming out, and guess what? We have something. I'm going to just give you a bunch of ideas. One could be that you've got the block under your pelvis, and you take your legs up in the air. And I bet most of you will say, yeah, that's where I'm going to be. So it's just your legs are up in the air, and it's good. Life is good. Another one that you could do instead of that is your block's just a little lower on your back than the previous one, and you extend your legs, heels are on the mat, feet are kind of wide, and you're in floating bridge. I'm giving you 3 choices. And it's really awful when you want to do all 3 and you have to make a choice. Or when you're really relaxed and you can't make a choice. The third one is the block is under your upper back and you're in like a supported fish. So like, I kind of make a joke about it, but honestly, I love all 3 of these. And I wouldn't know which to choose. But I would be with you, Paul. I ended up in the last one and I'm like, I'm not moving. I love the block under my back. It just feels really good. Take about let's see our time. Yeah, take a little less than a minute here. Just be here, breathing. And then I'm going to have you just slowly, closer to the screen, slowly begin to come out of this block supported asana, unless you're like, no, I'm staying here. And then just allow yourself to lie on your backs and savor these last 5 minutes of your practice. This is the ultimate pose. This is what we've been preparing for. We've been preparing for 5 minutes of stillness. We've been cultivating a mind that can be still. And what I'd like you to do is allow yourself to feel really a part of this yoga community. I mean, it's a strong yoga community. And, just feeling your presence, one among many, be the others online or in studio, just kind of feeling that common thread and connection. Just take another breath here. And then I'm going to go ahead and have you start to move your hands and your feet. Oh, it's so hard to do at times. And make your way up to sitting. And then those online, feel free to turn on your audio and you can join us for an Om